All right. Welcome to another Redhawks Report podcast. This is episode 5. It's been a while. Last time I did this, it was early November. We've come a long way since then. Honestly, I've felt a little bit unmotivated. And then when I finally was thinking about doing another one, all the controversy with Liljander happened, and I felt I was too filled with emotion to give a level-headed opinion on it, and I just felt like, okay, I need time to process before I'm making another podcast because otherwise it's going to be too emotional. Um, because and it's not so much who he is. I really don't have much attachment to who he is. But what have emotional attachment to is his way of going about this. But we'll get into that. But first of all, I would want to start by going over standings, form, all that stuff. So we'll use Flash Score for this. So we've lost 3 in the last 5, and one was on overtime, but still, it was we should have won that game. I was at that game, and we should have won it. If we would have been tiny bit sharper, we would have won it for sure. It was mm, it was a bitter taste to leave the arena with only 1 point after that game, but that's the way it goes. And then after that, we had an insane comeback win against HV71, and that game was fiery, both on the ice and in the stands, because HV71 fans showed up in big numbers to the arena, and obviously with Liljander leaving Malmö for HV71, this was a big game to show that he was doing the wrong thing. Then we went away to Färjestad, and we lost 5-4. We did a almost comeback, you could say, because it was 5-1 after two periods, and then we got very close. We didn't get quite there, but we got very close. So it was pretty evident after these two games that, okay, we got a trend here where in the second period we just collapse. We let too many goals in. It worked to get back in the third period against HV71. It didn't against Färjestad. And then all of a sudden we come home and play against Luleå. Luleå usually win against us. They rarely ever lose against us. They have a tendency to take all points. And we have a solid second period, an okay first period, and then again a goal explosion in the third, and it's a 4-1 win. And then we go away to Brynäs and get our asses kicked. Uh, so it's been very much up and down, but positives, okay? We have 46 points. We're on promotion, well, playoffs. We're in a playoff spot, and we have a good distance down to the playout spots. So very happy with that. If we look at home versus away, as you can see here, we are one of the better home teams in the league, which is something that we've been struggling with for the last 4 or 5 seasons. Is we haven't been consistent at home. We haven't been able to make our home arena, somewhere where people go and lose points, right? But the problem is we're one of the worst. We're almost the worst away team in the league. And this is absolutely insane. It used to be the other way around, where we would lose a lot of points at home and then we would regain it away. But now it's the reverse, and they need to figure shit out. They need to start taking a little bit more points away. And if they can do that, if we can, let's say we win away to Timrå, and then we have also Leksand. Leksand is sort of a middling team when it comes to, well, it's only 5 less points at home, but um, if we start taking a 2-3 points away, then we will be advancing up to top 10. I'm pretty, or well, top 6 is what I meant to say. So it's really about finding some form away from home. At home, we're doing well. We're fourth best home team in the league. So away, it's where it's needed to improve. If we look at form, obviously, I already looked at that. The last 10 games, we're sixth. The last 15 games, we're 10th. The last 20 games, we're sixth. The last 25 games, we're 11th. You can see how it's been going up and down and up and down. And obviously, the last 30 games, we're 8th. So we've been playing 33 games, so it's not, the last 30 games doesn't really show much. But we've been very much up and down. We're an up and down team. We can win and we can lose against any team, and it's a bit of a problem. Right. Let's have a look at some individual statistics. Now, I will switch to elite prospects for this, just because I like the way the stats look here. So, top scorer, all positions, is surprisingly the defenseman Robin Salo. He has 3 goals and 17 assists for 20 points in 33 games. He also have the record of 9 straight assists in 9 games. The first forward in terms of scoring points is Axel Sundberg, surprisingly. He has 9 goals, 9 assists for 18 points in 33 games. Lassi Thomson is Robin Salo's D partner. 9 goals, 8 assists, 17 points. And then we have Nikola Pasic, who's been scoring at about half a point a game pace. 6 goals, 11 assists for 17 points in 33 games. Lassi Thomson has missed 2 games. Just want to mention this. And then we have Carl Persson, who is looking to regress, I think. He's been going up every year, but this year it does not seem that he's... Because, look, he's was 20, and then 25, then 26, then 32, and now it's looking... At this current pace, he's only going to score another 9 points in the remaining games, and that's... If he's supposed to be a top 6 forward, top 6 winger, a scoring winger, then this is not okay. This is 25 points is too little. You need to be around 30, 35 points to be a top liner. So, and then we have Robin Hansel. He's been good, but he's been a liability defensively. That's the problem. You have a -1 there, obviously, but he's been a little bit of a liability. 16 points. Interestingly enough, we haven't even touched on Joona Ikonen and Henrik Happala. Both have been flops, I'll be honest. They were supposed to replace Lauri Pajuniemi and Kokkanen. They have not lived up to the billing at all. They've been a disappointment. Fredrik Hendermark have been scoring slightly less than he usually does, I think. Let's have a look at his stats. He has been scoring 22 and 32 points the last 2 seasons. He was injury, missed 5 games there. And this year he's on this pace of 22 points. So similar to 2 years ago. Not good enough. when he was the best we've ever seen him, 38 points, 26 points, 28 points, 32. Like he should be around like where he should be. I think 38 points is a little bit too much. Like we shouldn't expect 38 points from him. But I feel like 20 around 30 points. 22 points is way too low. Around 30 points is what we like 30 32 points is where we should expect him. Linus Öberg have been really a huge disappointment. He's he did not produce early on when he was in the top 6, and then he's stuck in the fourth line. He's not going to score. Thomas Berg-Paulsen has come back from injury. He was injured all of the first half of the season. He's come back eight games, 3 goals. I mean, he's a fourth liner, so the fact that he scored 3 goals is huge. But yeah, we've been struggling defensively, but we've also been struggling quite a bit offensively at times. And then we had the goalie side of things, and the funny thing is, the guy who with the best save percentage, he only played three games, but he was here on a short contract when Marek Langhammer was injured at the start of the season. And so far, Daniel Mamelin has played more games because obviously Marek was injured. But yeah, 8-9 save percentage is it's not good enough. It's not all on him, but I really would have wanted him to be above 900 at least, or 910. But we've been letting too many goals in, unfortunately. Oskar Blomgren, he's not been playing for Malmö. He's loaned out to Almtuna, and so far he's played 20 games. He has a 919 save percentage, one shutout, a 10-9 record, 2.3 goals a game against. Very solid numbers in a team. You have to remember, Almtuna is not a great team, okay? Almtuna is a well, we can have a look. Where are they in the standings? Almtuna is currently playing. They won 4-2 tonight, and his colleague Olofsson was in the net. So let's have a look where they are at in the standings. Almtuna is on playoff spot. They were down here before, but they've been rising up. I mean, there's a big gap to the next team, obviously, but 9th place it's pretty decent for Almtuna. It's a young team. It's a lot of young players who are not very used to the level. So good to see that they're doing well. But yeah, he will most likely join Malmö as one of 2 goaltenders next year. We'll see what happens. It's up to the new GM what they do with him. But yeah, let's see here. So, all right. Robin Salo and Lassi Thomson, best defenseman pairing in the SHL. I don't know if they are the best, but they are certainly one of the best pairings. As a pair, they are so good. Like, both of them can do that little extra individual performance to get a goal. They've been amazing. And Robin Salo does have a contract with us, but there's been rumors that he is maybe going to Switzerland, to the Swiss League, the NLA, and yeah, I mean, I hope not, but at least Lassi Thomson is staying. If he does go, that will clear up some cap space. Well, no, we don't have a cap, but clear up some money in the budget to where we can replace him. But it will be difficult because he's a very, very good player. Right now, Liljander-gate. So what happened, right? Um, I've been trying to figure out a way to summarize everything because there were things that came out that weren't true, blah blah blah. So uh, this place here, this is a blog about hockey knowledge, about hockey business strategies and finances, and it's a very good summarization. It's a very good summary of what happened, right? Um, I'm not going to read all of this and translate this on the top of my head, but basically, out of the blue, Bjorn took contact um, with the CEO and the chairman of Malmö and said that he was leaving. And that is not how that works, right? Because you have a contract, and he was free to, if I understood it correctly, I'm going to preface this by saying, if I understood it correctly, if he would have said this in May, that would have been fine because that is what the contract permits, that they were going to talk about an extension. Like he had 2 months um, of time to be saying, "Hey, I'm leaving," to basically cut the contract. But that wasn't kicking in until the spring, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, he's doing that already in December, early December, um, and yeah, and it felt like he had been planning this, and it felt like a stab in the back. It did. It really did, because he had been talking so many big words, so many beautiful words about um, building long term and over time we'll be improving, blah, 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 blah. Lots of nice words, right? And obviously you believe him because he's working for Malmö. He's working for the best interest of the club, right? And then to then switch under these circumstances the way he did to a, the thing is, right, if he would have switched to a top club, let's say Skellefteå or Färjestad or even Frölunda or one of the top clubs, fine. But he switched to a club that is in direct competition with us in at the bottom of the standings. That is a huge deal. That is a massive thing. That is a massive detail, okay? So that's why a lot of us felt like we were absolutely stabbed in the back. Um, and it was hard to understand how this could have happened in the first place, because he was under contract until 2027, I believe. Like it wasn't like his contract wasn't due, you know? So, but anyway, basically the CEO Silvergold decided, okay, well, since your head is already with HV71, we will need to let you go. So basically they had to make that decision on the spot. And then there has been a compensation sum of money that has been undisclosed. So Malmö has gotten some money for him, but it was after they had to check all the legal stuff because it was an absolute mess. So here it says anställningstid. So the time of being hired was 2 years or more, 2 months, right? The weirdest part about what happened was that both clubs sent out press releases about this way, way, way too early, and then and then it came out that they hadn't even negotiated. So it was all very covert and very from HV71's side. What I think they could have done better is make contact with Malmö Redhawks because they just took Björn's word at face value when he said that he was free to go, he was available, when he in fact was not available. You just cannot poach another club's GM like this. It's anyway. I recommend anyone who wants to go through this summary. Um, please do. I will leave a link in the description for this. And if you're English speaking and want to know about what happened, you can run this through Google Translate and get the gist of it, right? But yeah, so a six-figure sum was the replacement, by the way, the compensation. Anyway, it's even me trying to talk about this now. It's just like, oh, like why did this happen? But out of all of this came something good. The team came together. The staff around came together. There's been a sense of unity more so than in a lot of years. And there's been a sense of unity amongst the fans too. The most devoted supporters of the club. I feel like we've all come together, and it's been a positive. Out of the negative, it's been a positive. And then obviously Malmo had to find a new GM as soon as possible, right? Because it's a continuous process about getting players for the next season, etc., etc. So then they reached out to Oskar Alsenfelt, who's a former player for the club, is now GM for Oskarshamn, who plays in Hockeyallsvenskan, the second league in the Swedish league system, right? And Malmö was very adamant to not do what HV71 did. They reached out both to Oscar and they reached out to the club to make sure that it was done properly and done right, so that there would be a transition period, etc., etc. One key difference, though, is that Oskarshamn is not an SHL club, okay? Oskarshamn is not a competing club. Oskarshamn is not even in the same fucking league. That is a major difference. So when HV71 supporters is saying that we're hypocrites, that's not how that works. You have to you can't compare the two situations. One, Malmö was not covertly contacting Oscar. Two, Malmö contacted the CEO and chairman of Oskarshamn to make sure that everything was done right. And they were compensated. I don't know how much, but they were compensated for it. And yeah, over a transition period now, there's been a situation where Oscar is both GM for, well, working for both Oskarshamn and Malmö, and then Oskarshamn hired another GM to take over. So now Oscar is permanently with Malmö from the 1st of January. So out of all of this negativity, there's been a big positive. So what have Oscar Alsenfelt been doing, right? He got fired from the club in 2022 as a goalie. And then he became the GM for the Swedish Women's League. So he was the chairman or the governing position of the league as a whole, right? And then after a year or something like that with them, he went to Oskarshamn, and he's been there about a year, and now this opened up, and obviously, so he's been jumping a little bit back and forth here and there, but now he's moving back to Malmö, and he's going to be working for the club until he's contracted until 2028, I think it was. So he and he just made an interview today, which I really loved what he was saying. I really loved his interview with Sydsvenskan as well, which is the local newspaper. He's been saying the right things. He's been showing commitment. He's been showing that he's wise and want to make the right moves and make sure to uh, take advantage of the competence in other people around him, um, in the club. So because the fact of the matter is that he's new in the GM role. He's only been a GM for Oskarshamn for a very very short time. Before then, he was a GM of a whole league. So you have to remember he is new in this role. So taking advantage of both Hardelöv, who's the analyst who's been working with the team, sort of in transition period, and also taking advantage of the knowledge and the experience of Sylvegård, who is the current CEO, who was CEO and GM earlier. Um, uh, that is very wise. That is very wise. Okay, so what is the ultimate goal for the team going forward? I think, as it stands right now, I would want to say that we should definitely be aiming for top six. It's only 2 points. Top, sixth place is only 2 points away. We can do it if we get our shit together on the away from home. If we don't, then we'll have to figure out a way to stay in the play-in spots, right? Worst case scenario, as usual, 12th is the worst that I can see. But I feel like we have a good enough team to where we can challenge for the top, for the sixth spot here. Maybe not top five, probably not top five, but sixth, seventh, eighth, maybe. So either top seed in the play-in rounds or sixth place, which would mean a quarterfinal in the spring. That would be amazing. That would be a lot of fun if that happened. But we're not there yet. We have quite a few. Let's see, we have 33 games played. That means we have 19 games to go. 19 games to go. So, and if we look at the fixtures coming up, obviously we're gonna go. We're gonna look at Malmö Redhawks. Did I close that down? I thought I probably did close that down. Okay, so let's go to this game here. Click that. There. So our fixtures coming up right now is Timrå away, Leksand away, and then we have Örebro at home, Skellefteå at home, Frölunda away, Rögle away. That's going to be a key game. All of these, 1, 2, 3, 4. The next 4 games are all teams above us. 1, 2, 3, 4, even 5 games. The next 5 games. Then we have Rögle, who is in a similar position to ourselves. And then we have Skellefteå again. And then we have Brynäs at home, HV71 away. Obviously, there after Skellefteå, is this away? Yeah, after Skellefteå away, there's a bit of a gap, right? You can see that. That's the February international break, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 games for the rest of this month, and then 1 game in February before the break, and then after that we have the rest of the games. And yeah, it's gonna be intense. It's gonna be intense ending the year with a derby at home as well, a rival game against Rögle at home on the 11th of March. I hope that game will matter. If it doesn't matter, then it will be a friggin' snooze fest. Um, but yeah, it will be close. It usually is very close, but I think we can get to a play-in spot at the very least. Um, all right. Latest news before I close this off. Um, After the Junior World Championships, Stenberg was called back from his loan. So he was loaned out from St. Louis Blues to Malmö Redhawks, and after the Junior World Championships, where he did very well, instead of returning to us, he was called back from the loan and will be finishing his season in the AHL with Thunderbirds, I believe they're called. I'm not sure exactly. And then yesterday we got the news that Johan Ivarsson has had his contract extension for another 2 seasons. And he is a local player. Like he's locally from here, so he has a lot of heart for the club. He's a hard-nosed defenseman, plays physical. It's a very good extension. He's a solid core guy moving forward. So I think this is a good move. Um, and yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this. I don't know if uh, if this was at all. I don't know if this was at all, um, you know, listening worthy, but I hope it was, and I hope you enjoyed. And I will make another episode soon, probably at the break. Yeah, let's say that. So the next episode will be at the international break in February, and then we will have another one. I don't know, early March at the very end there to see where we're at and what our prospects look like going into the last few games. So yeah, I will see you in February. Bye for now.